We've got a request to do Croy chapter 24 from the New Testament sentences number 9, which is 1 Corinthians 14:5. So Paul begins, Fellow de. Fellow we know, I desire, I want. Quick word about the de. You notice that de is postpositive and it just functions right where we would need a comma. De is appearing after that word. After a piece of punctuation, here's a semicolon, de. So you barely need to translate it, but I want, or and I want, or just don't translate it at all. Moving along, fellow. Fellow I want is going to take the infinitive. I want to see. And if there's going to be a subject that isn't simply the subject of fellow, that subject is going to be in the accusative. Remember, the subject of the infinitive is always the accusative. So I want, where's our accusative subject? Pantos humas. Humas is you, plural. Pantos just agrees with that. All, it's masculine, plural accusative. I want all of you, or you all, lalein, to speak. There's our infinitive, and we're used to conjugating contract verbs. I want you all to speak in tongues. And if you're curious about this sort of expression, you can go to the dictionary and get a host of literature about what the expression might mean, how common was it in Hellenistic times to use this expression for ecstatic speech. We won't go into that more now. Malon de, but rather, but even more, hina prophetauete. This is a little surprising because we get a hina and we have to think about what comes before it. One thing that's helpful to know is that hina plus the subjunctive is at times roughly equivalent to an infinitive. We've seen this already. We have two ways to express purpose, hina plus the subjunctive, in order that we might buy, and also just the infinitive, we came to town to buy. This is not exactly that use of hina plus the subjunctive, but there's something similar at work. So you can see in the first clause, Paul said, I want you to speak. He used I want and he used the infinitive. He doesn't repeat the phrase I want, but that's got to be implied. And I want, but even more I want, or I desire it to be such, that, and then he gives a hina and a subjunctive. I desire even more, malande, that you prophesy. And you can see the subjunctive ending in prophetao. The subjunctive ending is required following the hina. Maidzon de, and then we get a. Maidzon just means greater. It's a comparative adjective. And the particle a means than. You can actually use the particle a with any comparative adjective. So, maidzon de ha prophetauon, a, than, the. So let's come to these two participles. Greater is the one, prophetauon, the one prophesying. So there's a participle, which is made substantival with the article, the person prophesying, than the person laleoing, the person speaking in tongues. Put it all together, I want all of you to speak in tongues. But really, even more, malande, I want that hina prophetauete, that you prophesy. Why? For the one prophesying is better than the one speaking in tongues.